game, so make sure you join us tonight for that at 10:05. Tonight here on Sports Talk, of course, we get you ready for the weekend of football. South Carolina at home against Jacksonville State, and Clemson at home against Notre Dame. Both games kicking off at high noon at their respective locations. Tonight, we'll give you our picks from our illustrious panel, the Sports Talk Pick'em Challenge panel. I'll update what's happening there in our competition, which is getting pretty heated because, hey, look, we're competitors. Nobody likes to get the brick at the end of the year. Everybody's going for the golden ring that we hand out in terms of defining the champion of the Pick'em contest. We'll have Lee Sterling with his Sterling picks. We'll have the governor, the attorney general with the football filibuster in just a few minutes. David Shelton will be here to preview tonight in the high school playoffs around the state. And also, Jeff Owens will be here in the second hour. The checkered flag is out for Jeff Owens and in the fast lane for this NASCAR season as we have the championship race on Sunday at Phoenix. And also, of course, we wrap it up tonight. Another edition of Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps around South Carolina as we talk about the golf world and fitness. And George Bryan will have some interesting stuff related to the PGA Q School. There is a tournament being played this weekend as well, so we'll update what's happening in the leaderboard there. So we have got a lot to do here tonight. No Chris Bergen. Berge is on the trip with Coastal Carolina, headed up to Old Dominion for their game tomorrow, and their travel plans do not fit the schedule for the show, so no Berge tonight. So Pat Daniel is here, and I am here at our Columbia studio. If you want to join us, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery. Lucky number for you here on Sports Talk, and we can work in a few phone calls as well. So let's talk about South Carolina J-State and Clemson Notre Dame. Been thinking about what I'm going to do for these particular games as far as the picks. I think South Carolina, a 15.5 or 16-point favorite, depending on who you're looking at. I think South Carolina will cover against Jacksonville State. I think South Carolina is going to have a big day offensively. And we pointed out this season, only 3 home games, but just 11 incompletions. He's thrown it like 80-something times at home, 11 incompletions, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. Those numbers are impressive, averaging 315 passing yards per game. It should open up some running room for the Gamecocks. They're getting a little bit healthier on their offensive line. Looks like Vershawn Lee will be able to play. Trevon Ball will be able to play. So that is good news. Babalade will be able to play. So they've got guys now who've got some starts under their belts and some experience. So they're doing better there. So I'm going to go with South Carolina. The Gamecocks have scored upwards of 39 points this year with the help of a safety, 37 points in the win over Mississippi State. I think they will put, let's see, 40. I'm going to go 42 to 21. I think the Gamecocks will double up the Gamecocks. And I'm not going to go with the corny line of, the Gamecocks going to win Saturday. I'm going South Carolina 42 and Jack State, as they like to call themselves, Jack State 21. They do have to be defensively a little bit wary of the Jacksonville State quarterback. I think Webb is his last name. Athletic. He can run. He's a good runner. Got to be aware of what he can do with that. In South Carolina, against running quarterbacks, they've had issues, as we all know. So they got to be a little bit concerned about that. But South Carolina certainly, player for player, should have much more talent on the field than Jacksonville State will have tomorrow afternoon at Williams-Brice Stadium. Up at Clemson, Tigers and Notre Dame. You know, early in the week, I was caught up in the emotion Dabo Swinney's emotion from his press conference on Tuesday and thinking, they're really going to rally the troops here, and they will. They'll come out and play hard, I'm sure, and give a great effort. It is Notre Dame. It is home. You're trying to break a losing skid. So why wouldn't you come out and play hard? I expect Clemson to play very hard, but we'll see if Shipley's able to play. I think that's a question mark still. So if he's not able to play, you turn over to you give the ball, of course, a lot to Maffa. But Maffa's never been your frontline runner. He's been sort of your fill in certain situations type of runner. Is he a guy that can be your lead guy back there? And can you run him 15, 20 times? So that's a concern. And of course, the tackle situation. What are they going to do? Are they going to move Will Putnam, who's been a guard? Are they going to move him from center to guard? And then who do you put in at center? Is it Lithicum? Is it somebody else? You got issues at left guard. Of course, your right guard's been an issue. Your left tackle's been an issue. So they got concerns there. I wonder about blocking Notre Dame up front by this Clemson offensive line and being able to run the ball against this very good Notre Dame defense. And then you've got the question at quarterback of Klubnik, who certainly has had flashes of great play, flashes of throwing tough passes, flashes of throwing the ball deep down the field, but his inconsistencies are a problem, and his lack of protecting the football is a problem. As we all know, Clemson's turnover issues are big, and they're real, and they apparently are not going away. All that comes into play here in thinking about this one. Clemson's a 3.5-point underdog to a Notre Dame team that just put 50-something points on the board against Pitt at home. Sam Hartman is a poised, talented quarterback who I doubt you can throw anything at him that he hasn't already seen. The running back is excellent. Big offensive line with two really stud-like offensive linemen amongst their offensive linemen. They did lose a quality tight end, but they have another dangerous receiver in the slot who's also an excellent return man. Saying all this, knowing Clemson's issues in the kicking game as well, I think Clemson will give a great effort. I don't think it's going to be enough. I've changed. I was thinking emotionally Tigers would rise up, but then the news about the injury up front, I think Notre Dame's going to win this thing at Clemson tomorrow. I'm looking at a low-scoring game because Clemson doesn't score a lot of points. And if it's going to be tight, it's going to be low-scoring. So I'm going to go with the Irish here, 24-20. Just enough to cover the 3.5. 24-20 Irish over Tigers tomorrow. So Gamecocks win, South Carolina style, and Notre Dame wins. Also tomorrow, got Coastal Carolina at Old Dominion. Coastal going with the backup quarterback, see if he plays well. And Jared Guess is his name, played well last time out. We'll see if that continues. Furman goes to UT Chattanooga. And last big hurdle, I would say, for the Paladins to win the SoCon regular season. They got VMI and Wofford to follow. Get past Chattanooga on the road, they'll be in great shape. Wofford, looking for that first win, home to Western Carolina. Presbyterian hosting San Diego. Back-to-back losses for the Blue Hose. South Carolina State home to Howard. Bulldogs have lost 2 in a row and really were beaten soundly at North Carolina Central last time out. Charleston Southern home to Tennessee State. Back-to-back losses for the Bucks. Newberry on a 2-game losing streak. Home to Wingate tomorrow. The Citadel winless, hosting Mercer. Erskine winless, hosting Emory and Henry. I can't recall a season this late in the season where we've had 3 winless teams in South Carolina. I mean, I'm sure it's happened before. This has not been the best year in state. North Greenville plays their last game. They host Shorter. They were winners last time out. Limestone having a very good year, 3-game winning streak. And the Saints have closed out their home schedule. They finish up on the road. They'll play at Barton this week and Emory and Henry next week. And then in Columbia, well, I tell you what, wouldn't mind getting over to this one if I had time. Benedict will host Allen. Benedict's undefeated, second straight undefeated season to this point, and Allen only has 2 losses. So Allen is like 7-2. Benedict is 9-0. These are not only in-city rivals; these are across the street rivals. I mean, literally divided by Taylor Street in downtown Columbia, and they'll play at Benedict. Should be a heck of a game and a heck of a crowd. And you got to give credit to both. Chennis Berry done a fabulous job since he came to Benedict, and he's made Benedict one of the best division teams in the country. And Coach Keaton over at Allen, who started the program when it restarted, has brought them up from NAIA now to a Division II, and being very successful. And of course, we've documented the things they have to work through just to have a football team. So that is the look at the schedule tomorrow here in the state of South Carolina. Pat, you want to share any quick thoughts before we dial up David Shelton on the Clemson, Notre Dame, South Carolina, Jack State games?
First, I want to mention the Benedict, because I wish we gave them a little more airtime than we have, but there's just so much going on around the state at all times. But they're not only undefeated, but if you look through their schedule, they are beating the stuffing out of all their opponents. Of their 9 games thus far, only one of them has been within 21 points. And that was a game against Miles College that they won 27-24. Every other game you look at is an absolute just shellacking. And if you go to the D2 stats page too, I mean, their offense and defense, they are just putting up tremendous stats across the board. So just Chennis Berry has done a tremendous job there. I don't think this is low-hanging fruit to say. I think it might be a fairly obvious thing, but with Buddy Pugh leaving SC State, you just got to think Chennis Berry's name if he's willing to depart. I mean, he's building up a nice program at Benedict, but you got to think if you're South Carolina State, you're taking a long, hard look at Coach Berry, and not just South Carolina State, plenty of other opportunities out there as well. But just with the departure, being able to stay here near the Midlands. Now, as for South Carolina and for Clemson, I'm with you. I think South Carolina, defensively, they might give up some plays in the secondary just because of those injuries, and they are facing a Rich Rodriguez offense where you know he's going to throw the ball all over the field. But the talent level, even with the injuries, the depleted secondary, the depleted offensive line, and so forth for the South Carolina Gamecocks, by halftime, you would think, especially going into the third quarter, that disparity in talent should start shining through. And the Gamecocks should be able, South Carolina Gamecocks, that is, should be able to wear down the opposing Gamecocks and pull away. Now, the Notre Dame game, I'm kind of like you. The Clemson-Notre Dame, I've gone back and forth, really thought everybody would be really pumped up in that locker room coming into this Saturday. But the more we've heard this week about the injuries, both to the offensive line, the Will Shipley one, yeah, he's a tremendous player, but I'm not as concerned. I think Phil Maffa's a tremendous back and very much so capable of being an every down, 3-down back. He does not have quite the amount of receptions as his compatriot there in the backfield, Will Shipley, but I mean, he does have a good amount himself. He's got 15 catches compared to Shipley's 20. He's averaging 5 yards of completion compared to 6 with Shipley. But again, I do think Maffa's going to make the most of this opportunity, getting all the first-team reps throughout the week. Notre Dame being without their top receiver, who is a tight end. You know, I've been reading a lot this week and trying to watch some tape on them. If I'm Dabo Swinney and I'm Wes Goodwin, I might be concerned this opens up that Notre Dame offense a little bit. It seems like at times Sam Hartman was a bit tight end focused throughout the season, and now without that star tight end there, not that they don't have good backups behind him, I wouldn't be surprised to see Notre Dame maybe spread the ball out a bit more across the field. If you're Clemson, you're on the defense, that almost sounds a bit scary, because Mitchell Evans had been the focal point of that offense along with their ground attack. And they have 3 just tremendous running backs in Audric Estime, Jeremiah Love, and Jadarian Price. Jeremiah Love being the speed back to Estime. He's more of the bruiser, but they're both averaging over 6 yards a carry for the Irish this season. And then just think back to that game last year. Just can't help but think if Notre Dame did not see what they were able to do against this Tigers front last year, where they were able to just run the ball down their throat all game long to the tune of 47 carries for 263 yards, almost 6 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. I do not think we'll see 47 carries from them. They have a much superior quarterback this year in Sam Hartman compared to Drew Pine last year. But again, if you're Notre Dame, you look at what Miami was able to do. That was a big part of their comeback a few weeks ago against the Tigers, was being able to have that ground attack. I mean, they were able to run the ball 38 times for 211 yards, just under 6 yards a carry for them as well. That's tremendous. And that's a lot like what Notre Dame was able to do last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a mixture of a lot of run early from the Irish, and then you go to that play action and you really see Sam Hartman spread the ball around the field. I think the Tigers are in trouble. I want to pick the Tigers. I want to pick them to win and to cover, just to see, as you've said, some of our in-state teams really do well and finish up the season strong. But it seems like Notre Dame's strengths right now are going directly against the Tigers' weaknesses. They have struggled to slow down opposing tight ends. They've struggled to slow down the run. And I see you waving at me, Phil.
Yeah.
And then also just with that depleted offensive line, Notre Dame might be in the backfield all day.
All right. Good take. Just want you to get David on while we.
I know. I was trying to buy you time. I saw you running around the studio trying to get yourself together.
You did a great job. All right. So we'll give our picks from our panel coming up here in just a little bit. We want to get to David Shelton here before it gets too deep into this half hour, because then we've got the football filibuster and our picks coming up. We'll give you the recruiting. Clemson got a commitment today from tight end Logan Brooking from Savannah, son of Keith Brooking, former Georgia Tech and NFL star linebacker. This is a big pickup for Clemson in terms of the reputation for Logan Brooking, 6'4", 220, a down-the-field tight end who can kind of stretch the field, kind of like a Brenning stool, got that kind of athletic ability and that kind of talent. So that's two big pickups for Clemson for the 25 class this week. Okay, with that said, let's turn our attention to the high school scene. It's the first full Friday night of high school football playoffs. Actually had a playoff game last night with Spartanburg going up to Rock Hill and winning that ball game as the, I guess, lower-seeded team, you would say, but Region 2 5A, you never sell those people short up there. Let's welcome in David Shelton of the High School Sports Report, Charleston Post and Courier. Welcome, David. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, and I was driving and heard you advertising what was coming up. When you get Jeff Owens on the air, ask him when he was started. Mm-hmm. When Billy Baker started, his first hire was Jeff Owens.
Oh.
Jeff Owens was the editor, the very first editor of the High School Sports Report, and I, David Shelton, got my start working for Jeff as a little staff writer. And about 6 months later, all the editors that Billy hired bolted, Jeff included. And then I got stuck with it all. And then so here goes the story. But I'm going to tell you, Jeff Owens, back in the day, could shoot a basketball. I'm telling you, the guy could play some hoops.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We used to play at his apartment complex out in the parking lot. Oh, he was good. He could shoot. And, you know, I always thought I was pretty decent. Man, he wore me out. But I just thought about that whenever you were advertising what was coming up. And I was like, Jeff Owens was basically my first ball.
How about that? I'll bring that up to him when we talk to him shortly. All right, we're getting a little tight, so let me throw a couple of games at you here and get your thoughts about some of these matchups in the opening round. We know there'll be a lot of blowouts tonight. That's normally the case when we have the opening round of the playoffs. But as I look at the 5A bracket, and I think what kind of jumps at me here a little bit is maybe Lexington-Gaffney up there. Do you think the Wildcats can go make a good contest out of this one against the Indians?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they'll make a good contest. Dustin Curtis is the former Dorman coach, and he knows Gaffney, and Gaffney is Gaffney. But Lexington's got a good club. It'll be competitive. I like Gaffney to win it, but certainly I don't see a blowout in this game, not at all.
All right, you see something kind of competitive. Over in the 4A ranks, as I look through the bracket here real quick, I don't know what do you have in 4A that might be something of a tight ball game that we can keep our eyes on?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I know AC Flora has had kind of a down year, but them going to Hartsville, if AC Flora puts it together and can play some defense, they could probably give Hartsville a scare. I don't know if that will happen, but there's so many games that just I don't see being very competitive. To be honest, now there'll be some threes beat some twos in each classification, but those really aren't big upsets. But the fours beating the ones, I don't see any of that happening.
Yeah, you feel like most of the top seeds are gonna skate through. Let's go to 3A. What about this the Powdersville good ball club, really good last year, going to Chester? Competitive game there?
Could be. Powdersville is definitely not what they were last year. Chester is really a really solid football team. The trip for Powdersville is a long one. I like Chester to win it. Could be fairly competitive, couple scores, but I think Chester is a lot better than Powdersville this year.
All right. Looking at 2A, where I think we'll have some very good competition as we go on through the playoffs. We get Gray Collegiate back playing in-state through the draw here. We'll play Gray Collegiate in the opening round tonight in Columbia.
Yeah, I think Gray's probably chomping at the bit to play some of the South Carolina Midlands teams that wouldn't play them. So, it could get ugly. It could get ugly. They'll try to make a statement, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. And in the 1A ranks, I saw a game in here that I thought looked pretty good on paper. How about Lakeview going to Whale Branch? I think that's got a chance to be a good one.
Yeah, that's probably the best matchup in Class A in the first round. Lakeview's a third place team. Whale Branch coming off that loss last week to Bamberg. That'll be a very low scoring physical game. Lakeview's got to make that long trip from Dillon County all the way down there to near Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think Whale Branch can win this game, but this one would not. This is one of those, toss-ups. It wouldn't shock me if either team won, to be honest with you.
Yeah, one of the better matchups, I'd say, in all the playoffs is that game, just based on what we've seen of both teams.
Well, based on their, who they are. Lakeview's lost a couple of games, but they're still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And Whale Branch, I'm pretty sure they were undefeated before they lost last week. So that'll be a good game.
Where are you setting up camp tonight?
I am at Goose Creek. They're hosting West Ashley. It's kind of the only two Charleston teams playing each other.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably get a little more of that in the next few rounds, but I think this will be a very competitive game. And, both teams are pretty decent, and one of them's going home. So,
okay. You enjoy, and we'll see you tonight a little bit after 10 o'clock. Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. David Shelton, who is our analyst here on Sports Talk for Preps and on the high school scoreboard. Remember the scoreboard tonight at 10:05, and we'll be back. We've got the football filibuster coming up next.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
And here's your weekend forecast. Clear and chilly tonight with a low of 39. Both Saturday and Sunday look great with sunny skies. Highs tomorrow at 72, while on Sunday at 73. We're turning back the clock on Saturday night and hour next week. A mix of sun and clouds Monday and Tuesday with highs in the mid to upper 70s. On Wednesday, we're back to 80 as a high. Brian Leonard with your On Point local weather.
When I served in Iraq and Afghanistan, my buddies and I would do anything for each other. That's important whether you're in a firefight or fighting to regain your life. When I came home injured, there are people I can count on, like DAV.
DAV, Disabled American Veterans, stands behind America's veterans to make their transition back home easier with free services and help getting the benefits they've earned. Help us fulfill the promise to our men and women who served. Go to DAV.org to learn more.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting a federal appeals court is temporarily lifting a gag order on Donald Trump in his federal election interference case in Washington. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit decision on Friday puts a hold on the gag order to give the judges time to consider Trump's request for a longer pause on the restrictions while his appeals play out. A 6.4 earthquake has shaken northwestern Nepal, and officials say at least 37 people are dead and dozens more injured as rescuers search the mountainous villages. Officials said Saturday that the toll was expected to rise, saying communication was cut off with many villages. Officials say the earthquake that struck late Friday killed at least 20 people in Rukum district and 17 in neighboring Jajakot district. More details at srnnews.com.
Let's see if you don't normally call a plumber until you need a plumber. Well, if you need one today or if you need one tomorrow, I want you to remember Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. Listen, I might not know all the tricks to turning a wrench, but I do know how a plumbing company should work and how to treat people. My dad was a plumber, my grandfather was a plumber, and so were three of my uncles. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning does it right. They are the epitome of customer service. They're locally owned and operated, and Josh and his team, well, they put customer service as the top priority for Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. I've never known a business owner more intent on making it a great experience for people. And let's face it, when you have a plumbing crisis, well, that could be traumatic. They specialize in service and replacement issues for your home or for your business. They've been to my home and fixed 3 different plumbing issues I had in the house. If you need them, they're there to help. Online at franklinplumbing.sc.com or call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning 799-2222. That's 799-2222. And tell them Kev sent you from the
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on The Point, join me, Chad Jordan, and my co-host Larry Jordan for the Palmetto Real Estate Pros. We'll help you out whether you're looking to buy, sell, or just learn all things real estate every Friday right here at 100.7 The Point.
Hey y'all, I'm Tim Miles, the mayor of West Columbia. I'm asking you to please vote for me for re-election on November the 7th so we can keep our city moving forward. I love everything about our city, the people, the places, and its history. As we have grown, we've been able to maintain our small town feel and keep our low cost, great essential services, and Knoxville Police and Fire Department. Let's keep it going and keep our city moving forward so we can keep the things that have made our city great.
Hey, it's Jay with the Cigar Militia, Columbia's premium cigar store. Have you noticed the change in weather? Some people call it fall. We call it cigar smoking season. Or better yet, it's football weather. Come in and check out our humidor and do what I do and get your go-to stick or try something new. We've got an awesome staff willing to walk you through and help you find your new favorite. And besides, you're going to need some celebration cigars for when your favorite team wins the big game. The Cigar Militia, 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard.
Hi, this is Joel Lurie. I'm the host of Health Matters every Monday morning from 9 to 10 right here on 100.7 The Point. Join me as we talk about issues impacting your health and our community. It's Health Matters every Monday at 9 a.m. right here on The Point.
We are back on Sports Talk on this Founders Federal Football Friday night. Glad to have you with us. Hope you're feeling well. Hope you had a wonderful day. So glad to have you with us. So glad to have you with us all week here on Sports Talk. In just a moment, we will present to you the football filibuster with Governor Hodges and General Wilson. I know many of you base your picks on the upcoming weekend on what these two have to say. So stay tuned for that. They'll be with us in just a moment. In the meantime, I'll tell you, up in Spartanburg, they have broken ground on a $75 million state-of-the-art baseball stadium, Fifth Third Park, 3,500 seats, part of a $500 million retail and housing project. New home of your world champion Texas Rangers minor league affiliate. How about that? Congratulations, Spartanburg, on getting that done. Also, Sunday, Clemson women will play Florida State championship ACC women's soccer tournament. So the Tigers have a chance to pick up an ACC championship. Okay, more on all that coming up. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time here on Sports Talk to welcome in two of the great political minds of recent history in South Carolina and currently two of the most fabulous football prognosticators that walk the earth. We have former Governor Jim Hodges and current Attorney General Alan Wilson with us once again here on Sports Talk. Governor, good evening. How are you, sir?
Hey, Phil. How are you?
We're doing great. Thank you for joining us. General Wilson, welcome in, sir. How are you?
Hey, it's great to be with you, Phil. Thanks for having us.
Oh, our pleasure. Last week, Governor, 3-2 for you, so a winner. Somebody flushing again, flushing the toilet? That certainly sounds like a flushing toilet if I've ever heard one. All right, Governor, you were 3-2 last week. You're 22-23, and General 2-3 for you, 20-25. So you're only 2 games back, and a lot of picks to be made before we crown a champion. General, how'd you feel about your week last week?
I was a little disappointed in the Gamecocks. I was calling them not to cover the spread, and so I kind of made the joke to you guys earlier in the week that they couldn't even lose right. But some things just don't break your way.
That's the ups and downs of the picking game. Governor, your week last week, 3-2, so you come away a winner.
Yeah, I did. I guess the game was it the Alabama game maybe that we had the difference.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's right. I'm like the general. I thought Carolina would probably lose by more than they did, but thank goodness they kept it a little closer.
Okay, now I am implementing a rule tonight that if either of you, in picking the South Carolina game, use the comment that Gamecocks are going to win, I'm going to penalize you a point. You cannot use that lame line tonight since they're both Gamecocks, okay?
Absolutely, that's fine.
None of that. All right, here we go.
Can we say, Phil, that the Gamecocks are going to lose?
Well, that's true. You're going to have a Gamecock losing and a Gamecock winning, that's for sure. All right, General, because you are trailing, we will let you lead us off tonight as you pick against the spread. We've got Miami at NC State, the home team coming off that win over Clemson, getting 5.5 points. These are the last 2 teams Clemson has played, and both of them beat the Tigers. And they're getting 5.5. NC State at home against Miami. General, your thoughts?
I'm going to go with the home team this week. Give me NC State.
You like NC State? Coming off the win over Clemson, probably feeling pretty good. Governor, what do you think?
I'm with him. Miami on the road, I would not, and giving points, I definitely want the NC State.
All right. I'd be worried about the Clemson hangover, though, with NC State. Just thinking they might still be caught up in beating the Tigers. We shall see. Let's go to the SEC. Governor, Missouri, probably the last hope for anybody in the East to beat Georgia. Missouri at Georgia, and they're getting 15 points. What do you think?
Everybody is big on Missouri these days and thinking Missouri is going to do really well in this game. But I'm going to take Georgia. I like the way Georgia looked last week. They're playing at home, and Missouri really has not had a tough road game yet. So give me Georgia, even with those points.
Yeah, General, I think Georgia can smell the money. I mean, of course, they kind of, they live in the money over there in Athens, but I think they can really smell it now. They're going to take it up a couple of notches in November. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm. I picked against Georgia last week on the spread. I knew they would win, but I didn't think they'd cover. But I'm not going to make that mistake this week. Go with at home. I agree with what the governor said. This would be the first real challenge Missouri's had on the road.
Okay.
So give me Georgia.
Both of you got Georgia. All right, let's go to another big one. This in the SEC West. LSU trying to keep its hopes alive. Alabama can certainly still get to the SEC championship game, but can't take another loss. So, they can get to the actually, they have no losses in the SEC. They have the one loss on their record. Anyway, Alabama's favored by 3 at home over LSU. General, your pick.
I'm staying with the home team this time, so give me Bama.
You want Alabama? Okay, Governor.
Absolutely, I'm with him. Bama.
Yeah. Alabama might be starting to smell it here a little bit, so let's see how they do against LSU. Let's go to Columbia, Williams-Brice Stadium, high noon. It's Jacksonville State. Rich Rod, whose wife once famously said when he turned down a head coaching job while at Clemson, who doesn't want to be a millionaire? Apparently my husband. Gamecocks are favored by 15.5. Now, this is Gamecocks aren't normally this big of a favorite against an FBS team. I think 21 against Vanderbilt, they were favored by 19, but usually they're single-digit favorites when they are favorites at home against an FBS team. Anyway, 15.5 against the other Gamecocks. Governor, what do you think?
Well, I think we're going to win that comfortably, but I'm going to take Jacksonville State and the points.
Listen to you.
15.5. Right. Let me tell you, 15.5 for the way our team has played this year is too many points. I think we'll win it by 10 or so, but, I'm going to take Jacksonville State.
All right, General, what do you think?
So, Governor's got good logic there, but last week our Gamecocks couldn't lose right. This week I think they'll win right. I think that they've got this next stretch at home games coming. I think, they've got an atrocious start to the year. I mean, 2-6, but I think the next couple of weeks are going to go in their favor, and I think they're going to run it up and go with the USC Gamecocks for covering the spread.
All right. I don't know what that background noise is, but it sounds like I don't know, somebody's washing dishes or Governor, is that you?
I am outside. I'm in Asheville, and I'm actually outside a restaurant. So that may be the background.
Yeah, I think we're hearing some wind or something.
Oh, it might be the spoon lady up in Asheville. She playing you some music with her spoons out behind you?
Not hardly.
All right, and let's go to Notre Dame at Clemson, high noon in the Valley. Been an interesting week for Clemson, to say the least, General. Are they focused enough? Are they good enough? Are they healthy enough? They're getting 3 points at home.
God, this was a coin toss for me. I really didn't know which way to go with this. I'm going to stay with the home team. And afterward, Clemson's 4-4 right now, and I think they really got to do something. And I think they're motivated. So they're at home. So I'm gonna go with the Tigers.
You got the Tigers, Governor. You say what?
Notre Dame. I just think Notre Dame has picked it up lately, and they're playing really well. They played Ohio State close. I don't know what's going on at Clemson right now, but obviously they've got some things to correct. So I'm going to take Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. All right. I like it. Two difference in the pickings. Now we go into a period of amendments. So, General, we'll give you the chance to amend anything since you were trailing. You differ on 2 games. So, not going to touch those. Those are barred. You can't change those. But you do have agreements on 3 others. Anything you'd like to change?
No, I think we got a good spread right now. I'm going to hold.
You like that? Okay. Well, you could end up tied if you're smarter than the Governor. Governor, are you good with your other 3?
I'm good. I'm going to stick.
Okay. Well, you gentlemen enjoy yourselves up in Asheville, Governor, and General, whatever you're doing this weekend. Enjoy yourself. Pat, what you got?
Just before we let you guys go, wanted to say a special message to you, Governor Hodges. Just wanted to wish you our thoughts and prayers about Mayor Axel Hodges and his passing. Grew up right there in the neighborhood beside Shandon, Wales Garden, but I think everybody in the nearby area knew the local mayor, Axel Hodges, your gorgeous dog, and just wanted to.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't mean to bring up a sad story, but I did.
That?
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I saw the Free Times did a nice spread on him, and he was known as a little lovable goofball in the neighborhood. He was a big, was it a Bernese Mountain Dog? Is that right?
He's a Bernese Mountain Dog. That's very kind of him. He was a great dog, and he was the mayor of Shandon.
That's right.
Well loved them all.
I just wanted to make sure while we had you to make sure to mention that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Governor. I didn't know that. I wouldn't have had such a good time tonight if I'd known that.
Well, we miss him a lot. He was a great dog and beloved by everyone in the neighborhood. So thanks for that.
Well, our best wishes. And General, I hope everything's well with you.
Yes, sir. I'm a single dad this weekend. My wife's on a work trip, so the kids and I are. I'm feeding them fast food and pizza, and letting them stay up way too late. So,
I hear you. Well, you have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you guys next week. And again, condolences, Governor, and all best to the family.
Deepest sympathies, Governor.
Thanks, guys.
You know, as a guy, I was a cat when I met my wife. My wife was a cat owner for all these years, and then about 3 years ago, we got a dog, and it's a rescue. And I tell you, she's the greatest thing we've ever had. Now, I've had dogs before, and they're tough to put down, aren't they?
Oof, yes.
I mean, they are just. So I feel for the governor. I feel for anybody that has to put down their little furry friend. But I've had to do it. I've had to do it with the cats. And we had a rabbit named Binky that I had to put down after about 10 years. And that was tough. They all get close to you. Cats, dogs, rabbits, they all get close to you.
Yeah, and I hope that was all right to mention on air. I just saw that.
Kind of depressed me now.
Well, I saw that in the free times, and I remember when that unofficial vote happened in 2018, and it was just a fun little cute neighborhood story.
Yeah, it is good. They called the dog the mayor of Shandon.
Yep, he was the Mayor Axel Hodges was his name.
I mean, really, when you were talking, I thought maybe you meant the governor's dad or or somebody like. You had me going there for a second. All right, let's go to the break, and then we'll come back and we'll give you our picks from our panel of I hate to say experts because, expert, the definition means that you know everything about a particular subject that you're asked about, and we by far do not know everything. We're racing like everybody else, playing our gut instinct, rolling with the numbers and hoping for the best. So we'll give you our picks after the break, and then we should be able to drop in the recruiting report after that. So we'll be back in a moment.
George Bryan for Tsunami Bar Sports, our inventor, David Abernathy, has always said Tsunami Bar technology allows us to take the training to the grass. Now I know through my sport of golf that natural agility can be converted to athletic ability. And why is this, Tsunami Robbie?
Transferring the training to the grass. This may be the most undervalued characteristic of the Tsunami flexible bar technology. The Tsunami bar action loads and unloads at the concentric and eccentric transition points. This is what we call reversal forces. And the Tsunami bar is the only bar and training device that I know of that can train these reversal forces adequately at speed.
Hey, this is Phil Kornbluth. The Tsunami Bar is a terrific training device, whether you're working on your fitness or your golf game. It's convenient, it's easy to use, and you won't feel beat up afterwards. Be sure to click on the digital ad on SportsTalkSC.com and get 5% off any order using promo code BBB5. Don't wait, order today.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's CORBETT. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
Investing can be like a puzzle. There's so many pieces to consider, and it can be hard to know where to start. But with the right guidance, you can put the pieces together to create a winning strategy. That's where Founders Investment Services come in. Our team of financial advisors can help you navigate the complexities of investing and create a personalized plan that fits your goals and risk tolerance. We'll work with you to identify the pieces of your puzzle and how they fit into your financial future. Call 866-739-7064 or visit foundersfcuinvestments.com to learn more about how we can help you take the first step towards reaching your financial goals. Securities offered through LPL Financial.
Touchstone Energy Cooperative members save more on electricity. And members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through Co-op Connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives. And as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out how much you can save on electricity and a whole lot more at touchstoneenergy.com.
Major Billy Downer here from the Department of Natural Resources, and DNR is excited to announce the implementation of Go Outdoors SC, a new online licensing and boat titling system that you can access right from your phone. Through this new system, customers can purchase their hunting and fishing licenses, renew their boats, apply for lottery hunt opportunities, and complete electronic harvest reporting requirements. For more information, visit Go Outdoors SC at your local app store.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
You ain't nothing but a dog player. I get it. Frog player. All right, it's the Founders Federal Football Friday night here on Sports Talk. Lee Sterling coming up after the 2-hour break. Let's take a look at what our illustrious panel of pickers has for us this week and what we did last week. We'll start with me. 4-1 last week. Bounce back week, 4-1, 27-18, but not in first place. Kev Cohen. Kudos to Kevy. 5-0 week for Kev Cohen last week, 28-17. Pete Yanity, 2-3 last week, 28-17. So those two sit atop the heap. They have the lead. Elsewhere last week, Chris Bergen gets the donut, 0-5, 21-24. Rick, first team All-American, first round draft pick by South Carolina, number 25 on your roster, number 1 in your heart. 3-2 last week. He's 26-19, very much in the hunt. Smitty went 3-2, 25-20. Pat, you were 2-3 last week. You're 24-21. The Big Kahuna, the owner of the Charleston Airwaves, Bobby Harton, 2-3, 21-24. The money coach, Fran Halloran. He's tough. He knows football. He's 4-1, 27-18. Teddy, I am so sexy, Hefner, 1-4, 23-22 on the season. We have Allen, the absolute baddest boy in radio. A good week, 4-1, trying to work his way out of the cellar, 19-26. Jim, attorney for the Stars, Corbett, Gentleman Jim, 2-3, 22-23. And Don, the godfather of Sports Talk Radio, Williams, 1-4. Not a very Don-like performance. 1-4. He's 21-24. So this week, I like Miami. I like Georgia. I think Georgia is going to kick it into high gear. I think NC State struggles getting past Clemson. And I think Miami is still pretty good. I like Alabama at home laying the 3. I like the Gamecocks laying the 15.5, and I like Notre Dame laying the 3. Chris is going with the Irish, the Gamecocks, Alabama, Georgia, NC State. Rick has the Irish. He's going with Jacksonville State. He is fed up with his Gamecocks. He's going with Jacksonville State. He's taking Alabama, Georgia, and NC State. Smitty likes the Irish, the Gamecocks of South Carolina, Alabama, Missouri, Miami. All right, Pat, what you got?
Pretty similar to yours. I think only one different. First of all, I just think Notre Dame's strengths match up well against Clemson's weaknesses. I hate to say it, but I'm taking Notre Dame in that game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State against
Oh,
USC. It's
look at
that
you.
1.5 there, that 15.5. I don't think Jacksonville State wins, but I think they lose by less than 15.5. I just think Rich Rod, whether it's in the fourth quarter or what, they're going to put up enough points, and I got to see it from the Gamecocks. I need to see that defense actually stop somebody when it matters.
Mm-hmm.
LSU at Alabama, that's the one I really struggled with, and I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing a push here, but I am going to take Alabama at home. Nick Saban does well in big games, and Brian Kelly does not. So I'm going to take that, and then Georgia over Missouri. I am done betting against Georgia. I think now 3 weeks running, I've gone for the opponent to cover against Georgia. I'm going to stop doing that. So Georgia, give me the 15. And then Miami with Van Dyke back at the helm for the Hurricanes with their running attack as well. Even though saw NC State up close and personal last week, I think Miami was watching that game as well. Give me the Hurricanes.
Yeah, agree with that. Kev Cohen is going with the Irish, South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, NC State. Big Kahuna, Notre Dame, South Carolina, Alabama, Missouri, Miami. Fran Halloran, Notre Dame, USC, Alabama, Georgia, NC State. Teddy, Tigers, USC, Alabama, Missouri, NC State. Smothers, Clemson, South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, NC States. Pete, Notre Dame, Jacksonville State, Alabama, Georgia, Miami. Jim Corbett, Notre Dame, South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, NC State. Dawn, Clemson, USC, Alabama, Georgia, and NC State. There you go. Those are our picks. We got professional help coming up after the top of the hour break. Why don't we squeeze in a quick call before the top of the hour and just tell us where we're going to go, and we'll go in that direction.
So we are going to go over to Swansea to visit with old Gamecock Larry.
Oh, yeah. How could I be surprised?
Got to get his prediction.
Gamecock Larry, you got about a minute, sir. What you got for us tonight?
Okay, Tyler from Spartanburg, Dabo. You go over Clemson another million after they pay you $1 million for the loss tomorrow. 34-21 Notre Dame. Gamecocks 45-24 over the Jacksonville Gamecocks. And my man on the two-wheeler gonna go down to Saluda in the motocross, whatever you call it, bring it home. But like I said before, if it ain't got 4 wheels, I ain't gonna get on it. Dabo, $4 million for 4 losses, $4 million for 4 wins. And tomorrow you're going to be in the hole $1 million. You got to pay another $1 million because you're going to lose. Tyler from Spartanburg. Go Gamecocks.
All right, Larry. Larry's got a new hero.
Yeah, that guy cracks me up.
Tyler from Spartanburg is Larry's new hero. Hit the break. We got Lee Sterling coming up, recruiting and more. Be right back.
Someone will be right with you. The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. A Virginia teacher shot by a 6-year-old student can proceed with a lawsuit against a school district. Correspondent Shelley Adler reports.
A judge has ruled that a Newport News school teacher can press forward with her $40 million lawsuit against the school system over claims of negligence by administrators. That means Abby Zorner could get more than just workers' compensation for her serious injuries caused by January's classroom shooting. Zorner was hospitalized for nearly 2 weeks and had to undergo multiple surgeries after a bullet struck her hand and chest. The first grade teacher alleges that administrators ignored multiple warnings that the 6-year-old boy had a gun that day and had routinely dismissed ongoing concerns about his troubling behavior. I'm Shelley Adler.
President Biden and the First Lady traveled to Maine to pay their respects to last week's mass shooting victims. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The first couple placed flowers outside an eatery that was one of the scenes of the state's deadliest mass shooting. Later, they paid a visit to the bowling alley where others were gunned down.
Jill and I are here on behalf of the American people to grieve with you and to make sure you know that you're not alone.
The President and First Lady met with state and local officials as well as first responders before meeting privately with the victims' families. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pushed back against growing U.S. pressure for a humanitarian pause in the nearly month-old war to protect civilians and allow more aid into Gaza. Netanyahu insisted Friday that there would be no temporary ceasefire until the roughly 240 hostages held by Hamas are released. On Wall Street, the Dow by 222 points. More at townhall.com.
Relief Factor pain relief. It's natural pain relief that works and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Harry, God has chosen you to have a son.
The greatest story ever told is now an epic Christmas musical for the whole family.
I want the mother found. You are in danger, Mary.
Starring Fiona Palomo, Milo Manheim, Lecrae, Joel Smallbone, and Academy Award nominee Antonio Banderas.
This child, what is his name?
Jesus.
Journey to Bethlehem. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. In theaters everywhere November 10th. Soundtrack also available. Get tickets now at journeytobethlehem.com.
The Boy Scouts of America announces a new president that's going to help the organization emerge from a previous sexual abuse scandal. We hear more on this developing story from correspondent Tiffany Wong reporting.
Retired businessman and Eagle Scout Roger Crown is named as the new chief executive of the Boy Scouts of America, replacing the retiring Roger Mosby. Crown will work to boost the membership and improve safety programs as the organization emerges from bankruptcy following a sexual abuse scandal. A federal judge in March upheld a $2.4 billion bankruptcy plan for the organization, which allowed it to keep operating while compensating more than 80,000 men who filed claims of sexual abuse while in scouting. Crown told AP on the phone that scouting is safer today than it has ever been. I'm Tiffany Wong.
News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
And here's your weekend forecast. Clear and chilly tonight with a low of 39. Both Saturday and Sunday look great with sunny skies. Highs tomorrow at 72, while on Sunday at 73. We're turning back the clock on Saturday night and hours next week. A mix of sun and clouds Monday and Tuesday with highs in the mid to upper 70s. On Wednesday, we're back to 80 as a high. Brian Leonard with your On Point local weather.
As a kid, you dreamed of being a firefighter one day. Now, the opportunity is yours. Answer the sound of sirens. Live your dream. Become a part of a team, a family. Visit scvolunteerfire.org to find out more.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil, Chris, and Pat with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All righty, welcome back in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network, Founders Federal Football Friday night for you. Here on Sports Talk, let's get right to Lee Sterling. Our Sterling picks from Lee. We got recruiting coming up as well, plus Jeff Owens in this half hour. It is time to welcome in the man who knows all, tells all, shares all in the world of picks, Lee Sterling. Sterling Picks from ParamountSports.com. Good evening, Lee. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm real good. Can't complain. My favorite weekend. You want to know why? It has nothing to do with sports.
Okay.
Extra hours sleep.
Oh, yeah. Unless you're in, let me think now. I was reading this about the NASCAR race in Phoenix where they don't turn the clock back. So they're on Pacific time until the clock changes. Then they go to Mountain time.
Wow. Did you know what year they went to daylight savings time?
About 1970 something, wasn't it?
70. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Very strange. Okay, let's get to it.
All right.
1 and 2 last week. Let's see if we get a big bounce back week this week. You got 4 games for us and a free play. Tell everybody what you got up for grabs this weekend.
All right, so we did last Friday. I'd never done this before. Usually a one-day all-access pass. 7 or 8 games is $77 to $97. Last Friday night, 8 games for $17, and went 7-1. So I'm going to run it back. We've got about 25 minutes. Anyone wants to get first game starts in 25 minutes. College football game, 4 NBA selections, NHL selection, and a UFC, my top UFC selection for tomorrow night. It's actually an underdog too. All 7 selections, $17. You can't. How much? You probably can't even get 2 Happy Meals for $17.
No, you can't. No.
Yeah. So $17 for 7 selections. ParamountSports.com.
All right, let's get right to it. Let's begin with the Alabama 3-point favorite at home against LSU.
I think Nick Saban is really preparing for this game, big time. I was watching the press conference. He had a busted blood vessel in his eye. I don't know whether he was yelling at someone, didn't get enough sleep, but he will be stepping into both of those rooms and really pouring over everything. He does not like losing. They lost 32-31 last year on that 2-point conversion. LSU has the best offense. Jaden Daniels is amazing. Most accurate passer in college football this year. He's thrown for at least 320 yards in all 8 games, but they got the worst defense. They've allowed at least 490 total yards to their top 3 opponents, Florida State, Ole Miss, and Missouri. Lost 2 out of 3. Should have lost all 3 here. I think the Bama offense is slowly picking up some steam here. Roll Tide. Alabama 38-31.
All right, let's go to Athens. Georgia laying 16 against Mizzou.
So I think Mizzou is even better than people realize. If they beat LSU, this line might be sitting at 10 or 11. Only Jaden Daniels did a number on them, and they had many chances to win that game. They just, like 7 or 8 plays, couldn't come up with that one play to make the difference. I don't think Carson Beck is that level here. Missouri's offense is legit. We talked about it, quarterback Cook, 3 legit playmakers who have developed as the season has progressed. They've scored between 34 and 39 points last 5 games here. They're 6-2 against the spread, Georgia. Last 8 times they played, they only lost last year 26-22. Gives me some optimism, and also 6-0 against the spread as a road underdog, getting more than 13 points. I think Georgia escapes here, 34-28.
34-28 in a tight one. Okay, but Missouri with the points is the way to go in your opinion. Okay.
Yep.
Let's look at South Carolina, Jacksonville State. Gamecocks, you've got them favored by 15.
So I got to see them up close and personal when they played FIU. And this is a team, they're not fancy. They just do the little things. Rich Rodriguez, always been a good coach. I don't know. I don't think he loves to recruit here, but not much of a passing game. But they're going to play hard. I think eventually South Carolina will wear them out here. Line sitting at 15.5. I think South Carolina wins this game by 12, 36-24.
By 12, but not covering.
Yep.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Let's go to Clemson, getting a 3 at home against Notre Dame. Tigers are normally not home dogs, but they are again this time against Notre Dame.
I mean, they outgained NC State 364-202, but lost their 3rd straight game in a row. 9 turnovers now. the last 3 games, -7 in turnover ratio. You're going to lose a lot of games here. That ricochet pick 6 by NC State in the second quarter when they were down 10-7, probably the turning point. 2 big plays by Casey Concepcion totaled 115 up. They're only 202 yards. I think they're close. I mean, Clemson 9-4 against the spread as a dog. The Irish have had the Tigers' number, as we know, the last 2 games. Will Shipley, probably a game-time decision, but I think the kid behind him is just maybe as good and might be able to hit on the big plays even more than Shipley. And Notre Dame, down their top receiver, tight end, Michael Evans here. He's accounted for over 400 yards receiving here. 2 teams moving in opposite directions. Game feels like a trap. I know Notre Dame's won 48-20 over USC and also 58-7 over Pitt. Don't fall for the trap. Wrong team favorite here.
No.
Clemson outright 27-20.
No, and I got to throw the flag on you because USC here is South Carolina. USC is South Carolina.
Nah, not most places around the country.
Personal foul, 15 yards. And your free play is Ole Miss by 3 over A&M.
This is going to be a great game. This is an interesting game. Ole Miss setting up for the big game next week if they can win against Georgia. You want to get it for free, be one of the first 5 callers. 800-400-9744 won't give you the game for free. And you want to hop on that special 7 selections tonight to $17. Love to have you for the ride. And then if you're happy, you sign up later tonight or in the morning. Monthly special through the end of the month. One place, ParamountSports.com.
You have a great weekend, my friend. We'll talk to you next Friday.
You too. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Lee Sterling, USC is South Carolina. USC is South Carolina. They were first, and they will always be first at USC, South Carolina.
California wasn't even a state yet.
That's right. Remember that. Learn your history. Time for recruiting, brought to you by Seawells. The daily luncheon buffet for you next week, Monday through Friday, 11 to 2. Make sure you get out for that. And you need the best in the catering business. Take a look at Seawells. Check out their website, SeawellsCateringSC.com, for all the menu options. Or for personalized treatments, just give Cal a call or any of the staff at 803-771-7385. Again, Clemson with the commitment, 2025 tight end, Logan Brooking, 6'4", 220, Savannah, son of the former Georgia Tech and NFL linebacker Keith Brooking. Second 2025 commitment of the week for Dabo Sweeney, offensive tackle, Eastern Ware, Virginia, committed on Wednesday. Brooking was offered by Clemson after camp in June. This week he narrowed his list to the Tigers, USC, Florida, Michigan, Miami, Penn State, North Carolina, Stanford. Gives Clemson 4 commitments in the class. USC's offered 2025 offensive tackle Malachi Goodman, 6'5", 295, Paramus, New Jersey. He's in the process of getting to know the Gamecocks better. He's looking at visiting South Carolina for the Clemson game, possibly, not definite, but possibly. He's got playoff games on Saturday. He was at Nebraska last weekend. He's also been to Boston College and Maryland for games this season. Nebraska, Penn State, Maryland in particular have been recruiting him pretty hard. USC running back target Daniel Hill just tweeted he is not going to make his visit to Alabama as he had planned tomorrow. He is down to South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee. He told us this week his feelings toward the Gamecocks have not changed. He knows they're having a down season, but his feelings haven't changed. He talked to Montario Hardesty last Friday. May have talked to him today, but at the time we talked to him, it was last Friday. He said he hears from Tennessee about every day, and Alabama's in touch here and there. In a recent game, he had 352 yards and 3 touchdowns. John Whittle, Big Spur, reported 6'6" Jameer Jones of Orlando will visit USC tomorrow, considered one of the top prospects in the 25 class. He visited LSU last weekend. USC's in the top 13 with 2025 receiver Amari Williams, 6'5", 210 of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. 2025 offensive tackle Max Buchanan of Sanford, Florida, plans to visit Clemson tomorrow. Also tomorrow, linebacker Brett Clatterbaugh, the 25 class of Culpeper, Virginia, and 2025 defensive end Isaiah Campbell of Durham. They plan to be at Clemson. Also, 2025 wide receiver Jordan Allen of Beaufort, Georgia, also plans to be there. 2025 offensive tackle Shed Surratt of Gaffney also plans to visit Clemson. At South Carolina, among the visitors, 2026 running back Amari Latimer, Tyrone, Georgia. 2025 center Joquavius Dodd of Eastside. 2026 linebacker Terry Gordon of South Florence. 2027 offensive tackle Israel Harris of James Island. Among those visiting South Carolina, of course, we mentioned others visiting earlier in the week. Clemson target defensive end Solomon Williams of Tampa plans to be at Alabama tomorrow. USC target 2026 cornerback Jontavius Wyman also plans to be at Alabama. USC Clemson target 25 defensive tackle Walter Mathis of Savannah was offered by Miami. 2026 lineman Desmond Green of Timberland goes to Georgia tomorrow. 2025 defensive tackle Amir Adams of South Florence will visit Alabama. USC offered 2025 linebacker Alex Tash, 6'3", 211, Latrobe, Pennsylvania. And former Clemson basketball guard Chauncey Gibson has entered the transfer portal for a second time. Freshman season at Clemson before transferring to Tulsa. He's a native of Dallas. There you go with recruiting here on Sports Talk. All right, we'll go to the break, and after the break, time to talk NASCAR. We wrap up the NASCAR season for 2023 down to the Final Four in Phoenix. You got championship races for all three series this weekend. Trucks tonight, Xfinity on Saturday, and the Cup race on Sunday. Jeff Owens will set the stage for us after this break here on Sports Talk.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hosteller-Brown. Do you know the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust? The difference could easily save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in long-term care costs. Visit lawyerlisa.com to schedule a consultation today.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Daddy, you need a trust.
Touchstone Energy cooperative members save more on electricity, and members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through co-op connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives, and as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out how much you can save on electricity and a whole lot more at touchstoneenergy.com.
Farm Bureau Insurance's agricultural roots and ties to South Carolina farmers have shaped the company's culture and work ethic, providing a unique customer experience. Customers are treated like people, not policies. Now, while other insurance companies may have a one-size-fits-all approach to handling customers, we believe you need to be valued and treated right. Our claims professionals work until the job is done, and our agents still believe in the commitments that comes with a handshake. Call Buddy Bridges in Clinton and Lawrence at 864-923-2174 for all of your auto, home, and life insurance needs.
Football season is upon us, and that means Columbia is welcoming fans from around the corner and across the country. No matter where you're from, Gamecocks love coming together for game day energy that can only be found in South Carolina's capital city. Book hotel rooms, find pre- and post-game activities, and plan your tailgate spread with local favorites from pimento cheese to barbecue at experiencecolumbiafc.com. We'll see you soon, and go Gamecocks!
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people, and it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today, in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with the family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at sccattle.org. Beef, It's What's for Dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff program.
Love it when it's forward, love it when it's fast, love it when the leaves start, the pack is moving past. Love it when they make it lots and lots of noise. Can't wait to hear these W's say. Let's go racing, boys! Love it when they're drafting, love it when they slide, love it when the back straight, the throttle's open wide. Love it when they're making lots and lots of noise. Can't wait to hear these W's say.
Boogity, 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 boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Let's go racing, boys. One more time in 23. Hard to believe. We started in February, and now it comes to an end. We welcome in Jeff Owens in the fast lane. One final trip around the track at Phoenix. Good evening, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing great, Phil. Ready for a championship weekend and a great season finale on Sunday.
Yep. How you feeling about the race, the four that will compete, the location, et cetera, et cetera? What do you think we're looking at here?
Yeah, I like the track. I think it's a pretty good choice for right now for that final race. And I think you got four good contenders. You got, they're mostly young guys. It's hard to believe that the oldest guy in the field is Kyle Larson at 31. That shows you what kind of youth movement we've got right now. But I think it's a good group, and it's a good mix of guys who've been good all year long and a couple of guys who've gotten hot lately. William Byron leads the series with 6 victories. Larson's got 4. They've probably been the 2 best and most consistent drivers all year long. But we've seen Christopher Bell and Ryan Blaney take advantage of the playoff format. Got hot at the right time. Blaney with a huge win last week at Martinsville. And those guys raced their way in, which is what the playoffs and this format is all about. So I think it's worked out that you've got 4 legit contenders there. And I honestly believe any of the 4 could win. No question about it. Byron won this race back in the spring. Blaney was second. And I think all 4 of them finished in the top 6. So they can I think they'll all have a great shot to win this weekend. And that should make for a great final race.
You think there's a fan favorite?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. Without Chase Elliott in there, based on what I saw last week, I'd say Ryan Blaney. He got a terrific ovation after he won that race. And he's got a great story. He's very similar to Chase Elliott in the fact that he's a legacy guy. His dad, Dave Blaney, was a World of Outlaws champion. He ran in the NASCAR Cup Series and the Busch Series for about 15 years there. So Ryan, has been around the sport his whole life, just like Chase Elliott. He and Chase, in fact, are best friends. And they've got a kind of similar demeanor. They're very low-key, very laid-back, calm, cool, collected. I think they got that from their dads. And I think that could pay off for Ryan Blaney this weekend. And I would say probably he and Larson are probably the 2 favorites. But I think a lot of people are going to be pulling for Ryan Blaney.
So I was listening to NASCAR radio today, listening to Dave Moody's show, and he had the president. Today was State of the Sport Day for the officials there. So he had the president of NASCAR, Steve Phelps, on. And he asked him a question about electric race cars.
Yeah, I heard that.
And you heard the conversation. What do you now? He said, in the immediate future, there are no plans, but they do have an electric car built, right? They've got one ready to go. And his point was, look, if the car makers are all going to be moving to electric cars, we've got to be ready. Is that his thinking?
Yeah. I think it's that, and I think they're just being politically correct. I think they'll follow the winds, follow the political winds, and see what happens and be prepared. Do they want that to happen? Absolutely not. And I don't think it will. I'm pretty skeptical that that'll ever happen, at least not in the next decade or so. We're already seeing the car manufacturers pushing back and really upset because they got lots and lots full of electric vehicles they can't sell. Nobody wants to buy them. So I think that's going to probably die down. I can't see there being electric cars in NASCAR anytime in the next 10 or 20 years. I really can't. I hope not.
Yeah, that would just be.
Not. I mean, what's the point? If you're going to do that, what's the point? I wouldn't watch that.
Yeah.
It was just like the iRacing thing during COVID. It was okay to fill a void there, but you want to watch that stuff on TV? No. I think that's the best way NASCAR could run off their fan bases with all this talk about electric cars. Nobody wants to see that.
Do you think as a sport, as we wrap up 23, that NASCAR is healthy going into 24?
I think it's healthier than it was. Do I think it's completely healthy? No. And the reason why is that, and I think we're going to start hearing a lot more about this as we get closer to them renegotiating a TV contract. I think the drivers and the teams feel like they are not making the money they need to make right now, and the business model is not good. It favors the tracks in NASCAR, and these team owners and drivers are having to depend too much on sponsorship. And we know that that's difficult. Sponsorship in motorsports has been on the decline the last 10 years. Now we're in a bad economy, and they can't get the sponsorship dollars out of these companies that they used to be able to get. So they need NASCAR to kind of revise that business model a little bit to give them some more help and a bigger piece of the pie. Until that happens, I don't think the sport's going to be completely healthy. In terms of fans and attendance and TV ratings, I think it's on the uptick, and it's better than it was 2 or 3 years ago. But I still think there's a lot of room for growth there, for sure.
Do they have to go with like an NFL concept where you've got teams and each team's going to make X millions of dollars and you can split it up that way and everything is shared equally, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I think it'd be similar to that. I mean, the big difference is that the drivers are subcontractors and all that. And, the big concern of the teams and drivers right now, they have this team charter situation where you have to buy your charter and it becomes valuable and it's worth so much and all that. NASCAR has not even committed to continuing that. And that's really got the drivers and teams pretty hot right now, too. So there's a lot of arguments going on behind the scenes and behind closed doors over stuff like that right now. And I think that's going to heat up because next year NASCAR's got to go ahead and sign a new TV deal. I think, right now it's broken down by percentage. I think NASCAR gets about 10%. The tracks get about 65%. They want that model. The teams feel like they need to be getting a bigger cut of the pie. How NASCAR does that, I'm not sure. And, of course, that also means they probably need to go out and sign a bigger TV deal than they got now. And, can you do that in this economy? And can you do that when, your TV ratings aren't great? They're up a little bit right now, but, they were in a pretty big hole there for a while. So there's a lot going on right now behind the scenes. And that's why I say I don't think the sport is completely healthy from a business model. But, they are doing a little bit better, in terms of TV ratings and all that. So we'll see what they can do if they can build off this pretty good season.
Jeff, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for a great season. Enjoy yourself the few months that you get a break from NASCAR, and we'll re-hook up back in February, do it all again.
All right. Thank you, Phil. It's been a blast, and have a good weekend. We look forward to doing it again next year.
Thank you so much. Jeff Owens in the Fast Lane here on Sports Talk. Back in a moment.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
And here's your weekend forecast. Clear and chilly tonight with a low of 39. Both Saturday and Sunday look great with sunny skies. Highs tomorrow at 72, while on Sunday at 73. We're turning back the clock on Saturday night and hour next week. A mix of sun and clouds Monday and Tuesday with highs in the mid to upper 70s. On Wednesday, we're back to 80 as a high. Brian Leonard with your On Point local weather.
Hi, this is Jennifer Coolidge. The American Heart Association says the disco song Stayin' Alive is the near-perfect beat for hands-only CPR. If you see a teen or adult collapse from cardiac arrest, you only need 2 steps to help save a life. Call 911 and push hard and fast in the center of the chest to the beat of the song Staying Alive. Disco is back and it's saving lives. To learn more, go to heart.org/hands-only-CPR.
Nationally supported by the Wellpoint Foundation.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting the Supreme Court has agreed to decide whether a ban on gun attachments that allow semi-automatic weapons to fire rapidly like machine guns violates federal law. The justices said Friday they'll hear arguments next year over a gun bump stocks regulation the Justice Department implemented after the 2017 Las Vegas mass shooting. Federal appeals courts have come to different decisions about whether the regulation defining a bump stock as a machine gun comports with federal law. The nation's employers slowed their hiring in October, adding a modest but still decent 150,000 jobs, a sign that the labor market may be cooling but remains resilient despite high interest rates that have made borrowing much costlier for companies and consumers. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 222 points. This is SRN News.
It's November, the time to knock out that Christmas wish list. No better place to start than at Shooter's Choice on Sunset Boulevard in West Columbia. Come and experience their new showroom. It's massive, it's awesome. And now, shopping is an easier experience for you. The selection of new firearms and accessories for your wish list, well, it couldn't be any better than it is right now at Shooter's Choice. Hey, you're not sure which hunting or home defense firearm is the best for you this holiday season? Let the experts at Shooter's Choice guide you to your best decision. See, their staff is hands-on with experience. They know guns, they hunt, they shoot. They can answer your questions on personal defense weapons, on rifles, pistols, and even shotguns. Plus, November brings you great promotions. Henry rifles, CVA rifles, Bergara rifles. They'll all be visiting to spice up your seasonal wish list with unbelievable discounts. Check out Shooter's Choice on Facebook for daily deals. And if you're undecided, then gift cards are perfect. They make great stocking stuffers. And listen, there's plenty of ammo in stock right now. And trust me, another ammo shortage is right around the corner. You want to get that taken care of. For your Christmas wish list, make your first choice. Your best choice. Make it Shooter's Choice.
Have you ever walked in and looked at how beautiful a Lexington Discount Homes manufactured home really is? For more than 35 years, Lexington Discount Homes has helped families find home ownership with phenomenal customer service and a selection that fits your needs and your wallet. They have a huge variety of homes and prices. Come by and visit us at 1847 Augusta Highway or take a virtual tour online at lexingtondiscounthomes.com. That's lexingtondiscounthomes.com.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
Hey, it's Jay with the Cigar Militia, Columbia's premium cigar store. Have you noticed the change in weather? Some people call it fall. We call it cigar smoking season. Or better yet, it's football weather. Come in and check out our humidor and do what I do and get your go-to stick or try something new. We've got an awesome staff willing to walk you through and help you find your new favorite. And besides, you're going to need some celebration cigars for when your favorite team wins the big game. The Cigar Militia, 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard.
Hi, this is Joel Lurie. I'm the host of Health Matters every Monday morning from 9 to 10 right here on 100.7 The Point. Join me as we talk about issues impacting your health and our community. It's Health Matters every Monday at 9 a.m. right here on The Point.
Local in the morning, afternoon, and evening. Columbia's local talk radio experience. 107.
PointRadio.com.
Straight down the middle, it went straight down the middle. Then it started to hook just a wee bit. And that's when my caddy lost sight of it. That little white pellet has never been found to this day. But it went straight.
All righty, time to talk some golf in the great state of South Carolina. Golf and physical fitness. It is time for birdies, bogeys, biceps. here on Sports Talk. George Bryan joins us. He brings the birdies. Robbie Thames joins us. He brings the biceps. And I am here to deliver all the bogeys and the double bogeys. George, good evening. How are you?
Oh, I couldn't be better, and I hope you all are.
We are doing fantastic. You notice how I admit to bringing the bogeys and the double bogeys. I think in the game of golf, you got to kind of know what your level is, right? You got to kind of accept it and live with it and deal with it and grow from it. That's what I'm doing psychologically.
Well, that's boring, man. I don't like it. That's what this station. That's what we do. We might start there, but we got to grow on. The more we talk, especially on this radio, the better we get, and the older we get, the better we used to be.
It's true.
So let's blow it up. Let's chop it up, and let's bring up Tsunami Robbie, because I played a little. Well, actually, I didn't play with him, but I watched him play some golf this week. Come on to the tee, Tsunami Robbie.
Good evening, fellas. Great to be with you again. And Phil, you just haven't had the right bag man. You just wait till you get to the scramble, and I'm on the bag, and it's going to be a birdie fest. It's going to be all Phil Kornblut setting the course record. And
I am ready. Yeah. When are we doing it? This is the time of year to do it.
Oh, it's gorgeous out there today. And man, I guess I just got off the course, played again today. Was out at Solina a couple of days ago. George Bryan sent me off the first tee with Mr. Mike Ramsey. And, man, what a fantastic place that is and is going to be.
George, tell us more about it.
Well, let's bring in Patrick. Let's make sure he doesn't go. I know he's probably hungry. It's that time of the day. He's a young fella, and he's burned up all his energy. But, Patrick, you're going to come on out here, too. I know you're accustomed to fine greens, and so you get ready. I see us going out, teeing it up, and having some fun. One thing, Robbie, I think I heard you say Hidden Valley, and one thing I've always loved about that course is you can see the skylines, the city. You can see the city from way out. Well, you can a little bit like that at Salina Golf Club, which used to be Indian River Golf Club. So, Patrick, you mentioned you were ready for the weekend, and
can't wait.
Are you so ready? You're gonna tee it up
Sunday. I do have plans to get out on the course on Sunday. Tomorrow, I will be heading up to Clemson to cover for Sports Talk that Clemson Notre Dame football game at noon. But I'll be back late tomorrow evening. But I do plan to get out on the course on Sunday. I made it out to the range a couple times this week, trying to shake off the cobwebs a little bit. I'll probably be closer to that bogey train these days. But hey, I just love it. I'm just excited to get back out there.
Hey, now you got to be honest. I like to put the young fellas on the spot. Would you rather go play golf at your favorite course or go watch that? You say you're going to a football game. Where are you going again?
So I cover a lot of the Clemson football games for Sports Talk. And so I'll be up there. Clemson plays Notre Dame tomorrow in the upstate at noon.
George.
So I'll be heading up there early in the morning. And I love sports. That's why I'm on this show. So I very much so prefer going to ball games, whether it's for work or for pleasure. But Sunday, I'll make sure. So got the NFL Sunday ticket, got all that on my phone. So I'll make sure to either have my phone or an iPad with me out in the cart so I can still follow along with the Panthers and my fantasy football team while getting some links in.
George, this is a working sports talk show, okay?
No,
my guys are out covering stuff. We're just not sitting on our haunches and eating potato chips.
He didn't answer the question, did he? He said, "Are you running for something, or are you a lawyer?" I thought you were in real estate.
I was raised by an attorney. I do not practice law, but I was taught. I had my media training from an early age.
But you didn't answer the question either.
That's right, George. Just love covering games. I love playing golf. It'll be nice to get a little mix of both.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess he's trying not to hurt my feelings or whatever. But I mean, come on, man. You'd rather be playing golf than watching. It's more fun being a player than a fan.
It is fun to play. It is very much so, and I love to partake in other activities while playing golf. I like to play with a cigar in hand and maybe a cold beverage with some ice cubes in it in the other hand. Got to get out there and really enjoy yourself.
I'll tell you what, there's nothing like golf, and I get pretty excited this time of year. For whatever reason, the folks in our area, they either choose football or get a little concerned about the weather. I was with Greg Payne today, who is a golf professional here in Columbia at the Country Club of Lexington. Greg's from London, and we got to talking about the weather, and he was giggling, and he's got a beautiful accent, but a day like let's say yesterday, day before, where it was early 50s with some wind, but plenty of sunshine, that would be a beautiful day in Ireland. And that's kind of summery almost in certain parts of Europe. And for whatever reason, the folks around here, they tend to play less, which I think it's just the opposite. You can get out and walk this time of year. I like the way the golf courses play, especially as the grasses go dormant. You get a completely different style of golf, and the greens, most of the greens here locally get really, really good. And because of football or the weather, you got them pretty to yourself. And the Tsunami Robbie, you played several days in a row, and it's pretty cool to see. The first, I only watched you on the first hole, but you just smoked it off the first tee. Walk through it, man.
Oh, it was fantastic. The renovations that have taken place at Solina, the former Indian River Golf Club, is a sight to behold. The plans that are in place moving forward really details a golf experience that's going to be unrivaled in this area. Looking forward to the completion and even watching the progress as it nears completion. But what's ready now to go out there and experience now is really worth the time and effort to come out and see. The grasses are completely different. The greens have been rebuilt and are firm and fast. The fairways have been rebuilt. They've got grasses. They're firm and fast. The bunkering has been changed in places, so they're artistic and beautiful. The tee boxes, as you tee off, they're nice, flat, level tee boxes, and then when you get out in the fairway and look back at several of the holes, that you can see how they're tiered. So you have tiered levels of tee boxes in some places that are just, to my eye, just look. I just love that kind of scenery and that aesthetic look to a course. And then the actual part of getting on greens, that when you putt the ball, they don't dance around a little bit, left and right and trying to find a track. They roll. If you strike it square, it's going to go end over end, and it's going to roll to the start line that you started on. And if how you read the slope and the speed, you make a good putt, you're going to get a good result. And what an experience! It was kind of it was Halloween, so it was rainy and a little bit chilly, but didn't dampen the spirit and the enjoyment of coming out there and playing. Thoroughly enjoyed it and can't wait to hopefully get back again soon.
Well, the Salina Golf Club is a golf club, and there are golf clubs and there are country clubs, and there are golf courses, and they're different. The different names indicate different themes for the way the operation, the property's operated. So the country clubs in our area are they're beautiful, fun. Usually, country club insinuates that there's swim and tennis and pickleball and social. When it comes to social, there's all kind of there's the card games associated with the various men's and women's golf associations. Always a fun thing, and family, kids going to the pool. Nothing like the country club setting. Now, the golf club typically, Palmetto Golf Club comes to mind. There's golf primarily, and it's not very wide as far as what the options are, but folks drive deep into golf. And we'll be talking about that more later. And Scramble, speaking of driving deep, we can chip it at the Scramble. It's most awesome little fun chip and putt locally. In fact, it's the only one in the Midlands like the scramble. And Robbie, we've had tour players there. In fact, it was pretty cool. This past last couple weeks, I've seen tour players play at Salina Golf Club. Interesting looking at the leaderboard, too, because Carson Young came up to play, and he's at the top of the leaderboard in Cabo this week. The tour's in Mexican. We'll get to that later. But I tell you what was a lot of fun, and you and I both, I think, picked up on it, is watching tour players play over at the scramble. A 6-hole chip and putt. They play the entire course in 6, 7, 8 minutes. Expand on that just a bit. And Patrick, you hadn't seen it. Phil, you're gonna set the amateur course record. But speaking to that just a bit, Tsunami Robbie.
Wait a minute now. If I make some money off my round, does that make me professional?
Technically not.
I will declare the end of my amateur status and turn professional right then and there.
Winning money off your one-armed golf buddy, yeah, that doesn't count, Phil.
Oh.
Oi.
Oh, my.
Oi. Too much?
Kaboom. Go ahead, Robbie.
Oh, yeah. The scramble is, George, you hit on something right there. You got the seasoned tour professionals that have been out there in the grind. You've watched them on television. Sometimes it doesn't look like they're enjoying themselves out there because they are really working hard, trying to get around the golf course, dealing with the elements, dealing with the pressure, trying to make cuts, trying to earn a living. And, then they come out to the scramble, and what is the challenge of a 6-hole chip and putt where the longest hole is about 37 yards and the shortest is 18? How are they going to have any fun at that? Well, that's exactly what they do. They have a great time. So when they come out, and I'll refer back to the first time that Scott Stevens and Wesley Bryan came out, they didn't just come out and stay for a round or two. They played for 5 hours. So they stuck it out, and they came back again the next day, and then again the next day, and then they've been regular ever since. And now they brought their buddies out, and they all have a great time. And that's really the bottom line of the whole thing. You get out there to a place like that. You don't have to be a tour professional to enjoy putting a stick in your hand, putting a ball on the ground, and trying to hit it to a target and get it into a 4 1/4 inch hole. Mm-hmm. It's great fun, and you don't lose balls out there, so it's not like you got to bring a bag.
No, there are no water holes. There are no water holes to deal with.
Oh, there is water out there, but
hey, there is. There truly is. You got
to. If there's water, I'm going to find it.
Yeah, really.
And it's that's gonna be something that we'll address.
Are you suggesting we keep the ball retriever in the bag just in case we need it?
No, we just leave them in the water and move on. Oh yeah, so it's can't wait to get you guys out there, and Phil, really waiting for you to get out there and do your thing. And
we're gonna try for next week if it works everybody's schedule. All right, let me do this real quick while we catch our breaths. George mentioned the Worldwide Technology Championship, which is in Los Cabos, Mexico, and Matt Kuchar is 65-65, 14 under. Steven Yeager, 66-65. He's at 13 under. Justin Sue, also at 13 under. And then we've got, as you mentioned, Carson Young, very fine playing, 11 under, 69-64. Lucas Glover, 8 under, 69-67. Ben Martin, 1 under, 72-71. Jonathan Byrd is even, 72-72. And Doc Redmond is 1 over, still playing 2 holes to go. He's 1 over after a 73 yesterday. Then we had the 43rd SCGA Mid-Amateur Championship completed at Camden Country Club. They wrapped it up on Sunday. John Weiss of Florence claimed the championship, second year in a row for him. Came into the day, tied for the lead at 4 under. He had 6 birdies on his final round to shoot 1 under for the day and finish at 5 under, 205. Sam Jackson, West Columbia, finished at 4 under, 206. And Jordan Cease of Lexington was third, came in at 3 under. George, thoughts on these guys?
Well, I just saw, and as a matter of fact, videotaped Sam Jackson today. And since you mentioned that, I'll just spin right over to Player of the Year. He is leading currently in the Player of the Year race. It's a lot of fun. John Weiss, he's a favorite of mine. I watched him in junior golf and into college golf, and these young fellas really have a lot of game. Weiss went to PC, so they mixed it up and chopped it up in college. And even though I think last time I heard, I need to probably check on it. Weiss is from Florence, and I'm not sure what his home course is, but he can play anywhere. And obviously, he's repeating 2 years in a row. And I was looking at the Player of the Year standings. Sam Jackson is at the top of the for the South Carolina Golf Association Player of the Year. That would put him in the repeating category, and Todd White's in second place. And it's pretty unique. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Todd White is our USGA Senior Amateur Champion. Garland Farrell, I talked to Garland this week. Technically, I guess it would be earlier in the week, Monday. He came out last Friday. He was playing they were playing their first round for the Mid-Am. He was with Michael Sims, and Garland Farrell was he's in third place. John Weiss, be curious to see what that does for him in the Player of the Year race. He could vault up. I don't know how many points were awarded, but I thought I punched in current when I went to refresh, so he's in fourth spot now. Sam Jackson, I watched Sam tee off just a little bit out after Wesley today, and you really can't tell much difference between those players from tee to green. And I'll just say the college players, the top amateurs, and the best professionals in the world, you can't hardly tell the difference from tee to fairway.
Yeah.
Biggest difference you'll see is fairway to green and up technically on the green, and it's a fine line at that as well. So pretty neat to see. And I was looking down the list. I mentioned Garland Farrell's in third place, and Michael Sims is in the top 10 also. Michael, former Clemson player, and Carson Young, by the way, he was here last week, and he is dialed. He hit some of the most amazing shots, and his putting stroke might be the sweetest thing going. And watching him grow up, seeing him play college golf right there at Clemson, and now watching him amongst the best in the world, it's just fun. We've been talking about many of these juniors. You mentioned Lucas Glover. We were talking about Lucas Glover going back to the mid-'90s, Phil Kornblue. So this is shaping up to be a lot of fun as we grow greater in the radio chair.
Well, Lucas has found something once again in his game, as we saw towards the end of last year. Let me hit a couple of college things here. The landfall tradition ended over the weekend, and the Clemson women finished in a tie with Duke at 21 under par. So they shared the honors. And as far as the individual competition, Anna Morgan of Furman ended up as your medalist at 14 under par. Annabelle Pancake of Clemson finishing the tie for second at 9 under par. Then the Daniel Island Intercollegiate. This is for the guys. And South Carolina finished in fourth place at 5 under. Middle Tennessee State was your winner at 10 under. Coastal Carolina College of Charleston. Coastal finished tied for 6 at +2. Charleston tied for 8th at +5. Charleston Southern 13th at +30. Francis Marion 15th at +34. And Upstate +64 in the 18th spot. The individual winner was Frankie Harris of South Carolina, 7 under par for him, wins it. So he picks up a title. And we have the Hurricane Invitational down in Coral Gables, Florida. This is on the ladies' side, I believe. Coastal Carolina finished 7th at even par. College of Charleston finished 8th at +8. Miami was your winner at plus 27. Yeah, that was a women's event. And guys coming up, well, starting today, junior golf at the beach, George, at the Tradition Club. It's the Elite Invitational. So I imagine with that name, you got players from all across the country. As I look at the roster of players, and I guess these are some of the top junior players in the country coming to Myrtle Beach to play in this tournament.
Well, I'm not familiar with that particular event. Before you leave the topic of college golf, Austin Castle is the new men's golf coach for Anderson University. One of these great young studies of golf, and man, I've known him for a few years. He's a great college player and was at Erskine before moving on to Austin to the Anderson University. So now on to some junior golf. I'm glad that we're talking about this particular event. Myrtle Beach hosts and always has some of the premier junior and amateur events in the country, and it'll be fun. You keep on going. I'm going to speak of some juniors. Hopefully they are in the field. On the girls' side, our number 1 ranked player is Madison Messimer, and on the boys, Jacques Crusoe is number 1. So
is that really his name?
That is it, and he is from, I think, Hilton Head. And I have been known to mispronounce a name or two.
Haven't we all?
But Matt Maloney and Dallas Johnson are 2 and 3 on the boys' side, and we have always, for a number of years, decades now, South Carolina has some of the best juniors, not just in the country, but in the whole world. And in the girls' rankings, Caroline Hawkins from Blythewood is number 2, and Olivia Roberts number 3. Go ahead and mention. I'm not familiar with the list of juniors that are participating in the event in Myrtle Beach. What golf course, what venue did you say, or did you?
I did. I said it was at the Tradition.
At the Tradition.
That's
okay.
down in Pawleys. The Tradition, down in Pawleys. That's over there in that group of well, actually, it's Litchfield, I believe. I think it's actually located in Litchfield, where Litchfield Country Club is, and you got a group of courses back in there. I think the Heritage, the Tradition, all those are back in there.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you, good friend Donald Clement is at the Reserve, which is also at Pawleys. And that is a wonderful golf course, a lot of fun to play. And speaking of,
we got it.
Wedgefield. Wedgefield.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, George, you got to putt out, my man. We're got about 30 seconds.
That pinches me a little bit. Time flies, but until next week, hey, I'm going to Bermuda. I'll call in next week from Bermuda, and till then, you guys tee 'em high, shoot 'em low. I enjoyed it.
Good luck to George.
Good luck to all the Bryans down there, and thank you, Robbie. We'll see you. Hey, maybe this week we'll hook it up over there.
Yes, sir. I'll get you out there one way or another.
You got it, brother. Thank you, guys. That'll do it for Sports Talk. High school scoreboard tonight at 10:05. We'll see you then.
Weekdays from 7 to 9 on The Point. It's Kev and Brian in the morning. The news, the traffic 4 times an hour, and your daily forecast. Topics to wake you up, topics to make you smile and laugh. Hope you'll